Welcome, beloved anointed ones. Silence settles over the valley like a heavy blanket. No wind, no distant fires, only the sound of your own breathing, shallow and unsure. You stand in the dark, feeling the weight of a sky that seems much larger tonight, and you whisper into that vastness, almost afraid of your own voice. If you truly chose me, help me carry this purpose. Those words leave your lips with a tremor you cannot hide. You wait for thunder, for a flash of certainty, for something loud enough to drown your fear. But all you receive is the hush of a night that listens more than it speaks. Still, somehow, the silence answers. It invites you deeper, past the edges of your own strength. You think about running, about finding a safer calling, a lighter burden, a quieter dream. But something in your chest keeps you rooted, even when your knees threaten to fold. You remember every moment you felt unseen, unready, unqualified, and you wonder why an infinite God would inscribe your fragile name into an eternal plan. You would not have chosen yourself. You know that better than anyone. Yet here you are, caught in a story larger than your defenses. While others chase attention, you crave truth. While the world trades applause like digital currency, you trade your comfort for authenticity. No spotlight softens this place, only the ferocious honesty of being known by the one who sees through every layer. It is terrifying and liberating. Listen, the valley is not punishment. It is preparation. Mountains are visible in daylight, but purpose is forged in nightfall. You are not abandoned. You are apprenticed. Every unanswered question, every delayed promise, every hidden season has trained your inner ear to recognize the voice that matters. You feel a stirring, a warmth against the cold, not fireworks. More like embers under ashes, steady and patient. You inhale, and the air tastes of possibility you cannot yet name. If you chose me, then empower these trembling legs. If you wrote my purpose before stars learned to shine, then teach my heart to believe in your handwriting. My doubt is no match for your intention. Look back for a moment. Recall the betrayals that tried to brand you with shame. See the rejections that tricked you into believing you were disposable. They were prisons at the time, but now you realize they were keys. Each wound carved space for empathy. Each loss widened your capacity for compassion. You carry scars, yes, but they are maps now, guiding others out of their own darkness. While some celebrate the surface, you are called to excavate depth. While many sprint toward quick victories, you are invited to walk a longer road that shapes character. Feel the tension. Feel how it stretches you between two realities. The shallow applause of the temporal and the silent affirmation of the eternal. One fades before morning. The other echoes beyond time itself. You speak again, louder this time, though your voice still quivers. If you are strong in my weakness, then let my weakness remain visible. Let it be a lens that magnifies your strength. I will stop polishing my image. I will let the cracks show, not to glamorize brokenness, but to spotlight the repair. Let the world see your light in my fractures, not my name in false perfection. The night begins to loosen its grip. A thin line of dawn creeps over the horizon. It is not blinding, it is merciful. It gives your eyes time to adjust, your heart time to breathe. You realize purpose is less a crown and more a crossbeam. It is not jewelry, it is architecture. It builds bridges where walls once stood. It refuses to collapse under the storms of public opinion. You step forward, one hesitant pace after another. Every footprint feels like a confession. I am not enough. Yet every footprint is also a declaration. He is more than enough. Fear walks beside you, but faith moves ahead, clearing the path. And somewhere between those two companions, courage awakens. Remember this contrast. While fear demands certainty, faith demands trust. While doubt asks for guarantees, surrender asks for obedience. You will not always feel brave, but you can choose to act as if courage already belongs to you. Because in truth, it does. The one who chose you deposited it the day he engraved your purpose. You reach a ridge overlooking the valley. Light spills across the landscape, revealing what the dark concealed. You see marks where others turn back, but your trail continues, not because you are superior, but because grace carried you when resolve disappeared, and grace is still carrying you now. If you chose me, then write your signature across my daily routine. Let ordinary moments become altars. Let small acts of kindness become psalms. Let silent prayers whispered in traffic become prophecies. I do not seek a stage. I seek a life that points beyond itself. Night is gone, but the memory of it remains, not as trauma, but as testimony. You learned to listen when words were scarce. You learned to stand when legs were weak. You learned to hope when evidence was missing. These lessons are not souvenirs. They are tools. You will need them for every corridor of destiny ahead. Feel the shift. Fear bends into purpose. Doubt bows before trust. Weakness finds harmony with power perfected through it. The transformation is quiet, but it is undeniable. You are still the same person who trembled in the valley, yet you are no longer defined by that trembling. So here is the climax of your confession. It is not about your name. It is about the name that breathed life into dust and called that dust beloved. Your achievements may decorate a moment. His glory defines eternity. You surrender credit, status, spotlight. You hand it over like a child returning borrowed treasure to its rightful owner. If you chose me, then let every breath advertise your kindness. Let my victories smell like humility, not pride. Let my failures grow roots of wisdom, not weeds of despair. Let the pages of my story turn only when your hand moves them. I am not the author. I am the ink still wet on your cosmic page. Write whatever you will. The sun clears the horizon, and you feel its warmth on your face. This light does not erase the night. It gives the night context. You survived not because you were fearless, but because you were accompanied. You rise, shoulders squared, not because they are weightless, but because they are an altar bearing sacred trust. Here's your action. Walk, even if steps are slow. Speak, even if voice cracks. Love, even when love costs. Serve, even when applause is silent. Because the purpose that chose you is larger than comfort, wider than approval, and stronger than fear. You exhale, and it sounds like amen, but it is more than an ending. It is a beginning disguised as a sigh. Weakness has become a sacred lamp, and through its glow the true author is revealed. So go, carry the flame. It was never about your ability to shine. It was always about his fire in your fragile lamp. While others scroll endlessly, seeking validation in fleeting pixels, you learn to pause, to breathe, to trace every heartbeat back to its source. You log off the noise to log in to purpose. Because purpose does not refresh like a timeline. It anchors like a root. It remains when trends expire. Picture yourself in a crowded airport, flights flashing on screens, everyone rushing boarding gates, chasing destinations. Your ticket feels heavier than paper. It is encrypted with eternity. And the flight you board is not defined by seat numbers, but by surrender. You buckle in, not certain of turbulence, but confident of the pilot. Your friends may call you intense, over-spiritual, dramatic. Smile gently. They see only the resistance, not the revelation. They hear thunder but miss the still, small voice. Let them watch. Eventually, they will notice the steadiness that anxiety cannot imitate. They will trace it back to source. Hear me. Comparison is a thief that picks pockets in daylight, but calling is a shield no thief can penetrate. When envy claws at your door, remind it that purpose is not a competition. It is a collaboration with heaven, and heaven lacks nothing. You will slip, you will question, you will miscalculate timing, misinterpret silence, misplace confidence. That does not disqualify you. In fact, it enlarges your dependence. Grace is not a safety net, it is oxygen. Keep breathing. Look at the giants in the landscape. Bills unpaid, relationships strained, health uncertain, addiction lurking. These are not random obstacles. They are training grounds. Each giant exposes a weakness and invites a miracle. Face them, not with bravado, but with surrendered courage. Say it again. If you chose me, empower me. One night, you will stumble into a room where someone else sits in the same valley you once survived. Your testimony will ignite their hope. Not theories, not cliches, but the raw evidence of a life sustained by unseen hands. In that moment, your weakness turns teacher, your scars turn syllabus, and the curriculum is redemption. I know you still feel tension between ordinary tasks, laundry, emails, broken appliances, and the extraordinary whispers of destiny. Do not despise the small. Destiny hides in the mundane like a king disguised as a gardener. Fold the clothes, fix the leak, answer the messages. Every ordinary act done with reverence becomes incense. When fatigue arrives uninvited, let rest be worship, not laziness. Even God rested. Rest is rebellion against a culture that equates worth with constant output. Your value predates your productivity. There will be seasons when purpose feels silent, like a muted phone. Do not panic. Signals travel further in hidden frequencies. Trust the process. Seeds germinate in darkness before they break ground in daylight. Imagine standing on a shoreline at dusk. Waves erase footprints almost as soon as they appear. That is how public opinion works. But the one who chose you engraves your identity on bedrock, not on sand. Let that certainty steady you when applause recedes. Remember the contrast. Success without soul is noise. Failure with faith is seed. Choose seed over noise every time. Draw a deep breath and taste the honest vulnerability of admitting you are still learning. Masters are simply students who never stopped attending class. Keep showing up. Listen carefully now. Obedience is not glamorous, but it is glorious. Some heroes brandish swords. Others carry water to thirsty strangers. Both change the world. Choose the assignment given, not the assignment that flatters ego. Refuse the counterfeit crown of constant visibility. The hidden life is not wasted, it is woven. Backstage is where foundations set. Stages built on shallow foundations collapse under applause. If you chose me, then quarantine my ego until humility matures. Let praise pass through me, like wind through branches, leaving only fruit, never vanity. Let criticism refine, not define. Teach me to discern the difference between conviction and condemnation. Conviction draws me closer. Condemnation pushes me away. I choose closer. You walk now into a city buzzing with neon promises. Billboards shout shortcuts to relevance. You lower your gaze and raise your standard, because relevance without reverence corrodes integrity, and integrity is non-negotiable. Feel your heartbeat steady. Feel shoulders relax. This is what alignment tastes like. It is quieter than hype, richer than adrenaline. In conversations, speak life. Words weigh nothing, yet they can rebuild ruins. Let your sentences become bricks of hope in broken neighborhoods of the soul. Avoid gossip. It's junk food for starving identities. Serve nourishment instead. Day turns to evening, and you light a single candle on your desk. Its flame is small, but darkness in the room retreats immediately. That is influence, not massive, but decisive. You do not need to be everywhere. You need to be authentic right where you stand. Soon the calendar will flip. New chapters will demand ink. You may hesitate, pen hovering above paper. Write anyway. Mistakes can be edited. Emptiness cannot. Grace includes an eraser. One final reminder. Your identity is gift, not wage. You cannot earn what was written before you breathed, so stop negotiating for value. You are already priceless. Now, breathe again. Let gratitude flood your chest, because gratitude transforms entitlement into worship, and worship recalibrates perspective. If you chose me, then let gratitude be my compass. Let generosity be my language. Let love be my legacy. I surrender the schedule, the script, the strategy. I receive the invitation to partnership. You kneel, forehead to ground, palms open, nothing fancy, just heart and soil and heaven, meeting in a humble truce. And in that posture, burden feels lighter, not because it shrinks, but because it is shared. Rise. Walk into tomorrow carrying less fear and more awe. Carry fewer excuses and more expectancy. Carry the quiet certainty that even trembling obedience shakes kingdoms invisible to human eyes. Your story is not a spotlight seeking an audience. It is a torch passed from generation to generation. Hold it high, and when flame flickers, remember, the source never extinguishes. Speak it out. I am chosen, but only because you are gracious. I am called, but only because you are speaking. I am capable, but only because you are able. Let every pulse repeat this litany until doubt runs out of arguments. Because chosen is not status, it is service. It is not ladder, it is ladder holding. It is not trophy, it is testimony. So here at the threshold of whatever comes next, I choose surrender over strategy, yielding over yearning for control, faith over formulas, presence over performance, depth over display. If you chose me, then finish what you started. Not my will, but yours. Not my timeline, but your timing. Not my reputation, but your renown. I seal this plea with trust, not clarity, with worship, not worry, with obedience, not outcome. Amen, and forward.